Hello, everybody. My name is Stephen Hensley, and today is Sunday, June 18th, 2017. And the intentions for this video or event are just to attempt to come up with and create or brainstorm some ideas kind of centered around my fiction series Master Ascendant, or my fiction series and character Master Ascendant. Basically, I kind of came up with this in kind of a dream I had a number of years ago. I don't know. I'm gonna turn off this music. It's just irritating. So yeah, basically, I've dreamt of doing this for a number of years, but I haven't really known what to do, or how to overcome or transcend or get over my myself and my insecurities and fears and things. I realize how much of it is just in my head, essentially. How much of it is just in the mind. And it's I realize how much our beliefs and perceptions kind of create our reality. But I don't know. I want to believe in stuff so much, but it's just a bunch of BS. It feels like a bunch of bullshit and belief systems. But it's I want to believe in things. I just I just would like to be grounded and down to earth, well-rounded and healthy. And abundant, I guess. Wealthy and abundant. Or healthy, wealthy, and abundant, I meant to say. Or abundant in all areas of life. And I don't know if you believe at all in this law of attraction sort of BS that essentially we create our reality, and we do so through virtue of the thoughts we hold in our minds, or something like that. If you were to believe in that, then they suggest to put yourself in the present moment, in the now, and to realize yourself to be a wealthy and abundant, healthy and so forth. To essentially put yourself in that space, and that will essentially attract more of that to you. like you'll be more likely to be wealthy, healthy, and abundant if you were like to believe and like know such things to be true. Like suggestively, like from what I've heard, that there really is no like time like the present. Essentially, like it's best to live in the now and like not in the past or in the future. Like supposedly if you're living in the past, you're kind of like, I don't know, like that's kind of like a, it's kind of depressing. Like at least it makes me kind of depressed thinking about it, and like thinking too much or like living in the future makes me feel anxious, but like not in a good way. So it's like, I don't know, it's kind of like a patience sort of thing. So it's like, supposedly you're supposed to put yourself in the now and in the present, but like, along with being present, be patient, and that like, essentially it's, I don't know, ask and it's given, seeketh and ye shall find. At least that's like what the Bible suggests, if you want to believe in that. Um, and like, I don't know, that's what like kind of quantum physics is like essentially coming to conclude, is that like when you have like uh, kind of like an expectation or like a knowledge, that like that belief or perception that affects the overall like uh, outcome of reality of like the experiment, essentially. Because that's like all life is, from like what I've gathered, is like it's an experiment. Because like nobody really knows what's going to happen. Like there's a lot of belief, you know what I mean? We have like a lot of hopes and dreams and things, but like nobody really knows. And like it never turns out like exactly how you believe it will. But like it more or less turns out how it's meant to be, from what I'm like told and what I gather. That like everything happens for a reason. Like kind of in like a cause and effect sort of way. Every effect has its cause and every cause its effect, as they say. Like, I wish I knew better. I wish I knew more. Like, I wish I knew something. Like, I don't know. Like, I kind of wish I knew differently. Like, that's what I mean, like, by I wish I knew better. Like, I wish I knew, like, kind of the truth. Rather than, like, a bunch of BS. Like I have no idea what's like happening or what's like going to happen. I wish I did. It'd be like nice if like I don't know. Like it'd be nice to have like some sort of uh like kind of like ritual or routine. Like I think and like would assume that everybody has like their routine. Like whether it's like a positive or like negative habit or not, I don't know. I get really like frustrated and angry with myself because like I don't know what I'm doing. So I don't feel like I know how to like navigate or drive this thing. It's like I super badly wish I had like some sort of like kind of like GPS for life. Like I've wanted to like actually like create something like that, like as like a an application or software where it's uh like I don't know, it's like I wanted to create something I refer to as like life path, uh, which is like a an artificial intelligence driven like uh, aggregator where it like aggregates information and like uh, basically sorts through it and then like makes recommendations based upon your like likes and dislikes or preferences. Kind of like what like your TiVo might do or like what Google does or YouTube or Facebook with like friend suggestions and like stuff like that. Like I basically wanted to, or have wanted it to, or wanted to create this thing to, uh, basically to like connect with and to all of your like social networks and things that you might use, like your Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn and so on and so forth. And like it creates like a kind of a sort of like profile for you, and as I said, like makes recommendations based upon like your preferences, and then like that basically alters your whole like projection, like your projected like overall uh, like outcome. So it's like I wanted to be like a virtual life coach sort of thing. And like basically it's like I wanted it to like help you design your life or your reality forward, so you can like take control of your creation, of your reality, and manifest your dreams and desires into manifest material reality, and become like your highest self, or your like become your greatest potential. And I feel like it makes for a pretty good story. Like, I don't know how like applicable it is to like physical reality, but in a quantum reality everything exists, so why not? So they say there's nothing new under the sun. So like, if I can believe it, I imagine somebody is doing it, or like has done it, or attempted to try and do it. But like, I don't know. So I have so many like wants for the future that I don't know how to like begin to believe in. I super badly wanted to create like a software and application suite, kind of like something on the lines that like Adobe would create. Um, but like I wanted it to be for like, you know, the universal and cross-platform market. And like I nicknamed this software and application suite Flasher, after Adobe's Flash. So it's like I wanted to create like a kind of like uh, graphic editor and suite, like a graphic editor and like IDE, or integrated development environment. So that way you can like program and code, as well as like uh, create and draw your uh, like your whole software and application in this one like application, or like software. Like I said, I wanted to be like universal and cross-platform, so it works on like the iPad Pro and like that kind of thing. Yeah, that's what I'm wanting or aiming for, but like uh, I wouldn't know where to begin or how to start. Like, I want to create to be like a freemium product, like like Unity's game engine, Unity 3D, or Unity now. It's not Unity 3D anymore. It's just Unity. Um, or like Microsoft's Visual Studio with Xamarin, or like Apple's Xcode. But like I guess uh, Xcode is actually just free. It's not like a freemium thing. But like I'm wanting to like basically create this software and application to accept like uh, like assets, uh, widgets and plugins, or like extensions essentially. So like the software and application can be like added on to through like the use of plugins and widgets and extensions and things. Uh, yeah, and then uh, I don't know. It's like I've dreamt of creating this to be like expandable to become like a game engine, uh, and or as well as a an audio engine for creating like virtual and like uh, like virtual instruments and synthesizers basically. Um, and like the game engine, you can like create video games with it. But like I don't exactly know why uh, we'd need another game engine in the world, but like an audio engine would certainly be uh, like accepted with like arms wide open. Cause like I could really like use something like that. Like I'd really like something like this to play with. Um, so yeah, like basically simply like an expandable, lightweight, cross-platform and universal uh, graphic editor and IDE or integrated development environment. Like the reason why I named it Flasher is because it reminded me of Adobe Flash, which kind of was like what I'm talking about in like a in some relative sense, uh, except for it was like very like closed or closed off and like proprietary, in the sense that like you had to use ActionScript, which was an Adobe created scripting language based off of JavaScript, I believe. And what I'm wanting to do is like uh, I'm wanting to like I'm wanting to kind of like work with some subset of like the C language. Like I was thinking like I want it to be like a C, C++, and like C sharp, because like you can create and use those languages to create universal and cross-platform applications, and basically use them to communicate with the hardware and stuff. Like whereas JavaScript and things like that can't like communicate with the hardware very well or like to great depths like you can with like uh, some subset of C. So yeah, it's like pretty much like what I dream of doing. Like I also dream of creating an artificial intelligence, uh, like a custom AI and like virtual assistant, basically. And like that's basically what I wanted to write and create a story about. Is my character Sam Gray comes to create this artificial intelligence, and like basically I wanted to like personify and create this character Orion, the artificial intelligence, like in the mind and imagination, and like then like create it in reality as a working AI or working artificial intelligence. Uh, so like I don't know, I don't know how else to like word it exactly, but like I kind of want to do with and for like artificial intelligence, kind of like what Walt Disney did with and for like animation and cartooning or cartoons and animation. But like I feel like that's a pretty like lofty dream, like a pretty like far out and like uh uh I don't know, just like it's hard to believe in for me. Um, like I kind of feel as though like I know my strengths and like weaknesses probably better than anybody does by now. Uh, Other than maybe like a psychologist or something or psychotherapist. Um, um, yeah, I don't know. It's like I don't know what I'd like to like have do or create in life or reality. Like I have all these ideas and wants and desires for like softwares and applications and things like the artificial intelligence and like my like flasher project or program, um, or like life path. um, so yeah, I don't know, like I wish I felt like I could believe in myself a bit more and like believe in my dreams and like these things, but like I don't believe I'm smart enough for any of this stuff. Like I wish I was. It sounds like a lot of fun. It sounds cool. It sounds like a lot of work and like not like a lot of like promise or guarantees, you know what I mean, of anything. like it's hard to say if people would even like use it or want it if like it was made. I don't know, I feel like once I get an iPad Pro, I'll be pretty happy. Like, uh, like I want to get an iPad Pro and Apple Pencil super badly, and have been waiting for like almost 2 years now to get one. Like, pretty impatiently, I might add. Uh, it's like I didn't want to get the first generation. I wanted to wait until they released at least the second generation, but I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna want to get like either this generation, this being the second generation, or like either wait another year or year and a half and like wait for the third generation one. I don't know why wait. Like I want to start like using it now. Um, so I start feeling like a little kid, a little like brat. Because I've always been like a spoiled brat kid in like life and reality. And it's just like, I kind of want that shit now. I get like fucking pissed because like I'm broke and don't have any money. I don't know. But then it's like, I'm not exactly sure what I'd even do if I had it. Like I know I'd like to, uh, like get into like drawing and illustration and like writing and stuff and like music production. Like I'm not really into video games or anything, to be honest. Like I'm more into like tools and utilities. And like that's kind of what I'd like to do is like if I could like in reality like do anything, I would have liked to have started and or created a a multimedia and technology startup. Like I've named it or uh, like play named it Orion Company and Open Source Studios. So like I kind of named it after the artificial intelligence I wanted to create. Like I named that after like the constellation in the night sky. But I don't know. Basically, it's like I don't know. I've wanted to like create media, like and be an entertainer my entire life, but I've also like wanted to be an inventor and a scientist, an engineer and designer and things. Like that's why I want to work on like technology and like I'd like to like work on developing like tools and utilities for artists and musicians, designers and developers, so on and so forth. So yeah, like a multimedia and tech startup. And then like I basically wanted to create that in my hometown, and then uh, be able to franchise, like kind of like Avon beauty products or whatever, where like people work from home and like we provide the like things like the stuff you need or whatever, and like you work it off, and like I don't know, basically like throw like or host parties and things like they do with Avon or Tupperware or like Scentsy or something like that. Uh, as well as like maybe go like door to door. I don't know. It'd be just super interesting. Like I want to like and have wanted to basically instantiate and to create an economy and like to basically like create jobs and stuff, like jobs that people enjoy, and like basically are excited to like explore and get into, and like where they'd be happy to find themselves 30 years later or whatever. Like my kind of want, will, and desire is to like do something as like a, well, it's kind of like to monetize my hobbies and passions, and then like basically have those hobbies and passions be something that I can do uh, even when and after I retire. So like if I wanted to like start another business after I retire or whatever, I could, just like if I was bored or whatever. But who knows? Like I feel like that's like a nice sounding plan. It's just like life never turns out or turns up to be what you like thought it would be or what you want it to be. You know, probabilistically speaking. But like I don't know. I guess that shouldn't stop you from dreaming. Like that's kind of more of like a negative affirmation than like a positive one or whatever, or like a negative belief opposed to a positive one. I wish I knew like better and more than what I do. But, like I wish I didn't feel so goddamn dumb or so stupid. But like I don't know, it's like I know it's just a feeling. And it's like I know feelings aren't facts and stuff like that. Like I get that. But it doesn't stop me from feeling that way. And it's like kind of something like inscribed or like etched into my unconscious or subconscious mind that like makes me feel that way. Like it makes your body feel that way and stuff, even when it's like not true. Like I rather like trade that out, like, you know, that fact that I'm like dumb or stupid with like the thought or belief that I'm a genius. You know what I mean? Fake it till you make it, or believe it till it comes true. You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know. It's like whenever I say I don't know, I feel like I know, like deep down inside my heart of hearts, or in my like subconscious mind, but I don't always know how to communicate it or like emote it or bring it up. Sometimes it's like too personal or close to home to uh, like uh, verbalize or communicate. I'm trying to like uh, overcome and like transcend uh, my previously held beliefs or uh, like limiting beliefs at least, and like my fears and things. It's like I feel like if there is any such thing or like any sort of validity to the idea of like brain training, brainwashing, hypnotism, hypnosis, neurolinguistics, or like programming at all, if those are like at all like a thing, then like why wouldn't we do it for like, you know, positive psyche or like, you know, auto suggestion. Yeah, auto suggestion for instance. So like the use of like affirmation, be it like negative or positive, like you decide. It's like the craziest thing. Like we have free will and freedom of thought and freedom of mind and things, but then like we kind of lead ourselves down paths or like whatever. Like we'll like live in the past or like try to like imagine the future. In the present we're like all like, I don't know, kind of fucked up. But I don't know, that's just like a thought and a feeling. It doesn't really like mean it exists. I'm just kind of like uh, tired of uh, like anxiety and depression and sadness and like the feeling of being like uh, kind of like not wanted or like not worthy or like that feeling of division or separation and stuff. I think that's like, I don't know. I wonder where like anxiety and depression and sadness and stuff really comes from. I don't know. So again, like when I say I don't know, I feel like it's sometimes like it's just like I'm not ready to make that conclusion just yet. Like, I want to believe in the Bible, and it's saying that, like, ask and it's given, seeketh and ye shall find. And, like, I want to believe that, like, we kind of, like, know everything. Like, I want to believe that, like, we're kind of connected with and to this, like, divinity or higher power, like divine mind, or like the superconscious or collective conscious. And like the collective unconscious and super unconscious. Like, there's all these kinds of like divisions of the mind, like those aforementioned, and like the id, ego, and superego and things. And like we have like the self-image and stuff too. It's pretty like interesting stuff. And like I feel like we can possibly use these things as tools to like create our realities, or like render manifest our dreams into reality, or into this like material world, from like the inner non-material or like non-physical dimensions or whatever, the inner worlds. So there like definitely is talk about like the inner world and outer world, and like I don't know, like I'd like to, I've always been interested in like kind of how they correlate. Like it's like I've always figured, you know, the butterfly effect and like certain principal laws and things, like cause and effect, are like even like there in your imagination and dreams and so forth. That like essentially these things affect you and you affect the world. And so like in turn, like dreams and imagination affect creation and reality. You, I, and others. Like if you have a good dream and like inspires you and like carries you through your day, it can kind of be uh, like infectious to and for others. Same thing if you have like a nightmare or a bad like night or morning, you can go through your day like living in that state, or like mental mindscape or mode, or like that uh, whatever. And like it'll be like maybe just as contagious. It's kind of like a yawn or something like that. Like you can't help but to like uh, kind of reflect it, or like uh, whatever. I don't even know. But like, so you can't help but to mirror like what happens through kind of like suggestion. Like the brain takes suggestion very well. Like in into the unconscious and subconscious mind. Like through and past the conscious, like critical, judging mind. and into the feminine, like non-critical, like non-judgmental unconscious, or like the creative mind. I don't know. I can't wait until I can afford to get like myself an iPad Pro and stuff. And like I super badly want to get my cousin one too. So we can like collaborate and stuff. So I wish I had like the knowledge and ability or skills or that which it takes just like naturally or on like a kind of like uh, muscle memory level, like the ability to like uh, engineer and create softwares and applications. Like sometimes I feel like people are born knowing things like on like a spiritual or soul level, like where they're like born and meant to be who they ultimately become. There's like definitely been some like icons through history that have been created, like I don't know, like that kind of stuff is what like makes me believe in God sometimes and stuff. Like some things just seem so like immaculately perfect, and like it could really not have gone any other way. And so like I really feel uh like the big G or whatever is like on our side. Then it's like I don't know, I feel like almost selfish or guilty or whatever, or like bad for like believing in God sometimes because like of all the terrible things that are going on in the world, like as we speak. And so I just like, I don't know. I've kind of always like been afraid to believe in God too because like I kind of didn't want to get my hopes up because like I dreamt of like and have dreamt of being like supernatural my entire life, being capable of like performing like magic or like miracles, kind of like Jesus. And it's like I don't know. I get scared to like talk it like that because like I feel like people are gonna make fun of me for like wanting to be like Jesus and like be a healer and stuff. But it's like I always have wanted to believe that like kind of like anything I can do, you can do better. You can do anything better than I, or like whatever. I know this song goes the other way, but I like to like empower others and like get them to believe in themselves. Like I feel like that creates the greater like illusion that like I believe in myself than just saying like anything or you can do, I can do better. Like that just seems like kind of like narcissistic or like uh, I don't know. Just seems childish. Like na 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 na. Anything you can do, I can do better. And that's like the song. That's what the song is supposed to be. So that's like, you know, it. In that context, it was perfect. It's just like I like to put it into a different context, I guess, or apply it differently. It's like I like to apply it like an ointment instead of a burn. You know what I mean? Like a burn, as in like burn, like an insult. Like I like to empower people and like uh, help them feel good about themselves, like healing holistically, like an ointment instead of a burn. I don't know. Uh, like I'm kind of working on like being positive and having a positive psychology, and like uh, I've been working on this like concept and idea of like holistic fiction for a while, and like the idea of like the power of word, and like, you know, how can essentially like evoke whatever out of us that we like will or desire. It's like language is like, I don't know, language and dreams and the imagination and things, like art and science and like stuff like that, like life, and like maybe even like if there's an afterlife and stuff, like that stuff is kind of like magic to me. But like I don't know how to like explain it. Like, I don't know how to explain myself either. Like I feel like I need to explain myself all the time or explain myself away. And like I constantly feel like I need to apologize for stuff and like fear like being a waste of time or like kind of invaluable or non unvaluable, not invaluable but unvaluable to people. But yeah, I'm trying to like, I don't know, trying to lead with love instead of like with fear. It's like I want to believe in like there being nothing to fear but fear itself. But it's like I kind of fear loneliness and like sadness and depression and like I fear kind of rejection and like like I have a lot of fears around being like uh, seen a certain way, or like seen as uh, being dumb or stupid. Like I don't like to be made fun of or laughed at. Like I'm really sensitive in that way. But it's like whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger, I suppose. And it's like, it's kind of a nice concept to be able to laugh at yourself. You know what I mean? Like, to not take yourself so seriously and stuff like that. But like, I don't know. I often feel like terrible for like comedians and stuff. Like, I don't know. I feel like they're often like sad and not well understood, and like it's like they're kind of like character stereotyped and like made fun of. Like, I suspect that they like, you know, like don't take it personally. But it's like maybe one of those things that are kind of easier said than done. You know what I mean? When you look at it, like, I'm not like a huge fan of comedy, especially like today's comedy. Like, it's kind of full of like, I don't know, it's kind of full of like gay humor and stuff a lot of the times, like gay jokes and stuff, which is kind of weird. Makes me kind of uncomfortable. And I don't know. I think I feel like really like dumb because like it's hard for me to relate to others. Like, oftentimes, like, I don't know how to relate. Like, I kind of grew up being like super selfish and like kind of like a pseudo uh, like only child. Like, I'm my dad's only child, but like his only like biological kid or whatever. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I've always been a spoiled, rotten brat. Like, I've always been like a spoiled kid. Like, I kind of always like wanted my way, and if I don't get it, like I always gotten bent out of shape. Like, I get frustrated and pissed off, and just like kind of say fuck it and forget it, whatever. And I get to be like, fuck the world and everything. Like, I don't like that part of myself. I don't like that character, personality. Like, I don't want to be spoiled or rotten or like immature or like feel like I have to get my way. You know what I mean? Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video. Love you, God. Namaste.